Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if this is not your first time here, welcome. You're all very much appreciated. I was just going to give a little intro to anybody who might be brand new to this channel. This channel is kind of a vlog style. I'll show you what I'm working on in just a second. Vlog style, learn with me type of channel. I'm not quite a brand new quilter, but I am on the newer side. And so I'm trying to learn. And as I'm learning and unlearning, I'm sharing that journey here on YouTube. And I'm getting some great feedback from people who are guiding and directing me and people that are cheering me on. And it's just been wonderful. I have multiple projects that are in the works, and each day has a kind of a designated type of quilting project that I'm working on. And on Sunday, which is when this one is being released, of course, there's no telling when you're watching it. This one is being released on Sunday, and that's when I upload I just created that. I don't know if you can see. It should look like this. It's very faint, and that's what I'm going to sit here and cut out while we talk. So on Sundays, I started a series that I was initially calling Slow Stitch Sunday, because my intent, and that's part of the news that I'm breaking to all of my viewers who have been following me on Sundays, my intent was to do only hand stitching on the Quilt Show's Pick a Petal, the 2024 block of the month. And as of an hour ago, I decided that I'm going to allow myself to do some machine sewing. There's going to be plenty of hand sewing on this quilt, but I had originally said that this was going to be a hand done only quilt. It was going to be hand stitched, hand quilted, the whole shebang. Well, I may have to wait till another season in my life. Now, there's a thought that I could go ahead and get this started, and it's okay if it takes me 5 years to do it. But I kind of know how I am, and I very well may not get it done if I were to stretch it out over that period of time. I talked with one of the viewers, like actually on over the phone. We could see each other. So it wasn't Zoom, it was Google Meets or whatever that one's called. We tried Zoom, and for some reason that wasn't working. But anyway, we went to Google. And Jody is her name, and she was saying the same thing about her own work, that she just knows that, squirrel, I'm going to go do this. And, so she was being very prolific. That's what caught my attention. She was sending in her work and showing me what she'd done, which I encourage all of you to do. Please send me your progress, and let's share it and share everybody on. See, that's what we just did. Let me show you where it's going. And I'll finish telling you about this channel. We are a Learn With Me blog style channel, just like I just said. And on Sundays, it was the Pick a Petal, and it still is Pick a Petal, the Quilt Show's 2024 block of the month. But I'm going to be allowing myself to do some machine sewing on it. Then on Mondays, we do Moda Blockheads, and that's a 30-week sew-along. So Moda Fabrics does what they call Moda Blockheads 5, and I'm in group 2 because it's the second season of their Blockheads 5, and it's a completely different quilt that they're doing with this sew-along. It's a 30-week sew-along, and that should take us through July. Now on Tuesdays, I try to do something technical, but I'm adding something else. That's what I've done historically, is I've added a video that was kind of technical on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, historically, was a series of videos called Comfort in the Waiting, because I'm producing, with that set of videos, I'm producing charity quilts for children on transplant waiting lists. And then on Thursdays, it was what I call Thursday therapy. Quilting is my therapy day. And I had been working on a Mars quilt for one of my great nephews. Well, I've interjected a unicorn quilt that is getting close to, being done, but it's not quite there yet. And when it finishes, I will go back to doing the Mars quilt. So on Fridays, I have been doing a series of videos that are kind of a recap of everything we've done in the week, any changes since then, and what we can expect going forward, along with like any kind of quilt parade we have of everybody's work. Well, I decided, and I announced this last week, that I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Hang on. Let me change places so you have something else to look at. This is one of the background frame pieces for the second block in the Quilt Show's Pick a Petal. On the first Wednesday of the month, then Barbara Black of the Quilt Show will come in. We'll do a YouTube video showing us what we're supposed to do next. That's our next block, and that's going to be a set of log cabins with some applique. You have to be a star member to get the pattern. I highly recommend it. I mean, you get more than your money's worth by just getting that pattern, but also the wealth of videos they have of other creatives that they have interviews with, demonstrating and explaining their processes. That's just invaluable. I feel like every time I watch, I'm getting a master's degree in the quilting arts. That looks good there, doesn't it? I had to stop and think about that for a minute. I just kind of plopped it up there and kept on talking, but it looks good. I'll talk about this in just a minute. Let me finish my thoughts. So yeah, Barbara will do her video this coming Wednesday and give us instructions for how she's been constructing and different options on constructing the third block, which is the log cabin block with applique on it. This is a beautiful Jen Kingwell quilt, and I just cannot say enough good about it. It's just a beautiful quilt. She did it all by hand, and I believe she quilted it all by hand as well. And that was my original intent, but the pressures of life have added up, and I just know that I'm not going to get this done if I don't go ahead and make progress. I'll get discouraged because it's taken so long, because I can't work on it daily. It's just a little bit of a slower process just to get each block ready. There are 20 blocks of each of the block styles. This block style, there are 20. The block style before it, which is over here, there were 20 of that. And then we have this cincher medallion piece. I'll try to put that on the screen, you can see it better. And then there's going to be 20 of the log cabin ones with applique. So that's 60 of those all together, and it takes me forever. But I'm just slow, and I know I'm slow at hand stitching, and it's fine because it's very meditative, and I'm kind of mourning the concept that I'm going to give up doing it fully by hand. But just because I'm going to incorporate the machine does not mean I'm going to do it all by machine. This weekend, for example, is a good reason for why I need to incorporate the machine. I'm helping my son sell a house in town. He lives out of state. He has a duplex rental investment property, and I'm helping him clear it out. And, so that's kind of draining on my energies. And my dog is a little high maintenance right now. Don't know how close she is to the end. She could last another year or two. I don't know. Or she could go down really fast in the blink of an eye. She has a series of issues. Let's just say that I came home yesterday and had to disassemble my living room. And then today I had the rug out on the driveway. The room size rug was pulled out to the driveway, and I was cleaning it. And so that used up a lot of my energy today. So it's just those kind of life things happen. They're always going to happen. I am a hermit most of the time, just living life and quilting. And so normally I would have time, but all it takes is a week or two here and there to really eat up a lot of hours all of a sudden from your week, and then you've lost the opportunity to hand stitch. So it may have to wait into another season in my life for me to do a quilt this size that I was wanting to make this one, for me to do it all by hand. But doing the YouTube channel and doing all the different projects is just going to take a while. I was talking about all the different projects, and I don't think I finished saying that I'm adding another series, another sew-along. And that's the one that Kimberly Jolly and Pat Sloan and Sherry McConnell are doing together. And it is called Peace and Quilt. I believe it's a front cover quilt in the book called Celebrate with Quilts. One of the big reasons why I want to do it is because of the people who are going to be leading that sew-along. And, I just love the idea of doing that. But also, I am on a learning journey, and I've learned so much with each of these blocks. And it's amazing. And I'm learning because I'm doing the Moody Blockheads, and I'm learning so much with those as well. So if I do another sew along with 3 other teachers, I'm going to be learning a lot. And that, therefore, I have more to share with you guys also. And that's one of the, so those are 2 of the big reasons why I'm adding another sew along. And another reason is I'm in a season of paying back some kindnesses, some angels, what's what I call them, some people that really leaned in during a lengthy surgery season that I had, and the people who really leaned into my life and made those things possible. And so I'm working on this quilt is for a grandbaby, and then the Motor Blockheads one will be for one of my angels. This new sew along will be done for one of my other angels. Her name is Deanna. I needed to go ahead and start. I didn't want to wait until the one angel quilt is finished before I start the other one. I like them to be done in tandem, so that I'm paying back these kindnesses as quickly as I can instead of stretching it out over 5 or 10 years. And people think I, didn't think enough to even thank them. I've thanked them. Please know that I have. But I wanted to thank them with something tangible that's meaningful from the heart too. So there's that. But then you're thinking, okay, you just said you can't slow stitch all this because there's just too much going on in life, and life is not slow enough. That's true. I can't add anything without taking something away. So what I'm taking away is the Tuesday video where I was doing a video on something technical. Then that will become the sew along. I don't know what they're calling it unless it's just the name of the quilt, which is Peace and Quilt, Piece and Quilt. You may hear me calling it Moody Midnight because that's kind of the color palette. It's like a moody midnight oceanic view, and that kind of suits my friend. And the video that I put up, the video I put up on Friday, I believe, is the one that explains all that. So the other thing going on is my Motor Blockheads. I started late and I started behind everybody because I really didn't know about it until it was everyone was kind of in progress. So I started off at the very beginning. I thought, no, I'll start at the beginning and then I'll work my way up. Well, I did like 3 in succession, and it was irritating me that I was so far behind. So I skipped to where everybody was, so I could be in pace with everybody else. So how I want to remedy that being behind. So I've got 4 blocks that I haven't done yet that everybody else has done. I don't want to just tack them on to the end because I want to finish with everybody too. So what I'm doing is I'm adding that on Saturday. So I started doing Blockheads group Blockheads 5, Group 2, Block 4, which is the first one I had skipped. That released today, which is Saturday. And because it is adding something into my life, I'll have to just do it in little increments. But on every Saturday video until I get these next 4 blocks done, you'll see me kind of moving the needle. All I did pretty much with this first one, with the Block 4, on this first video of it was just get my colors situated. And so now I know which fabrics to cut my units from. Then that's half the battle for me because I really like to put a lot of thought into my coloring. Now with that thought, we're going to get back over here talking about this one. Normally I put a lot more thought, even a scrappy quilt like this, I normally like to put a lot more thought into it. As I looked into my bin for all my fabrics for this quilt, I saw these on top because I just love them. They're just little honeybees. I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. I want those in the center. I wish I had, because I know that line probably had different colors with the same design on it. I wish I had 4. But then, I picked those and I thought, okay, I need something else but about the same kind of scale and the same kind of density. And so I just picked 2 more that was like that. And then I love this one, which is also honeybees. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put it here instead of putting it with the yellow one, which you might think it would go with because it's got some yellow in it, but it also has pink in there. And it's a dark taupey gray as a background, so it goes well. So I thought, okay, so I like the trend that started there. So I'm going to work with that. So my trend is that it's more dense here, and the scale is fine. So I just try to match that. I look for more density this is not anywhere near as dense, but it was a contrasting value. Not as much, but I can't be too picky. And then I look for a contrast here. This is more a contrast in color, not as much a contrast in value. But it's, again, I've only got one set of fabrics that I'm working with. And same thing here. This is more dense. You get a contrast in value and a contrast in color. So these are darker, right? And denser. So let's go a little bit looser and go with our white background. So it's a print on white. And this one, of course, is not really loose, but again, I only have so many fabrics that I'm working with. But it's working just fine. And then these 4 strips that you see lying here, these are going to come in and be the swoops that are going to go here, the little crescents here. And what I went for here is a looser with a more saturated background. This one just is on white. So I may have to find another one, but it seems to be working for me, even though it doesn't have a darker background. I think because it's the print on the white background is so saturated, it's reading fairly equivalent to these in my eye right now. But I feel confident enough about it to see how it works. It's, to cut it out and place it up there and see how it works. That's what I'm saying. I like to think about these things. I like to have a rhyme or a reason behind it. And this is my rhyme or reason for this blog. With all that I was doing today, was trying to sell things for that duplex that my son is selling, and having to clean out my living room and take a room-sized rug outside, clean it. Fortunately, I had a neighbor pop over to help me lift it. Fortunately, also, I have a very tall fence. So I was able to put the rug, drape it over the fence, and then hose it down really good and scrub it. But that's just it's been a lot of energy that's been exerted today. So this is as far as I'm getting today. And I'm going to have to be okay with that, because my motto, whenever things get really congested, is that at least move the needle. Just look at that, whatever that next project is, that next thing, at least move the needle. And I am, this has my foot in the door, right? The door is cracked, my foot is in it, and I have a vision for where it's going. I've done some of the work. And so going to that next step, and that next step is going to be a lot easier now. So I hope that you're doing that too. Like, you feel good about what your progress is. Some days we just have more to give to our quilting than we do in other days. But on those days where it's really difficult, sometimes you just go in and maybe you just clean up your table. Maybe you just vacuum the room, you do something to engage with your passion, your craft, your art, so that you stay connected with it. So that it feeds the soul, right? Every time that you spend time in your space and you just quiet the mind for just a moment, even if all it is doing some kind of maintenance in your space, dusting, vacuuming, whatever, or just getting your block fabrics picked out, not even pieced together. You just get them up on the design wall and you get the needle moved. Just move the needle. And I don't necessarily mean the one in your hand or the one on the machine. Sometimes it's a much looser description of what that means, right? Of moving the needle. Thanks for being on this journey with me and helping me move the needle a little bit at a time, baby steps. As long as we're moving forward, at least we're not moving backwards, right? I do believe that. If you're standing still, you're moving backwards, because life keeps on moving. So at least some action, some forward action was taken here, and I feel good about it. I hope that what you're doing in your studio and with your needle in your hand or your needle in your machine is making you feel fulfilled and full and happy and peaceful today. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.